The South African reality television show on Showmax called Widows Unveiled has finally come to an end. Episode 10 aired, I think, last week. There was Eat No More. And may I say, that was not the ending that I was expecting. Things turned very confrontational, very messy, very dramatic. I was expecting an ending that is very warm and kumbaya-ish because, throughout this show, the ladies were really talking about how they're trying to establish a sisterhood, establish a support structure for each other as they maneuver life after losing their husbands. But after episode 10, do I see that happening? For some of them, no. Sadly. So now, before I get into what happened, let me first introduce who's who in this zoo. So Widows Unveil is a reality television show that follows the lives of 5 widows after they have lost their husbands. These ladies were married to prominent South African men in the entertainment, business, and political sector. Their names are Fundi Lerato, the eldest of the group. She was married to businessman John Lerato. We then have Lerato Maphatswa, who was married to South African politician Kebi Maphatswa. Now, what is worth noting about Lerato is that she is one of the executive producers of the show. She is sort of boss. Okay, hello, boss lady. And after that, we have Mpho Shabalala. Mpho was married to a South African musician by the name of Mandoza. We then have Lerato Sengadi, who too was married to a South African musician who we all knew as Double HP. And then last but not least, we have our late comer, Sigalala Ngubane, and she was married to legendary South African actor Menzi Ngubane. So I've already made a video about the show where I was just talking about it in general, who's who in the show, how the ladies are relating to each other, and what I love about the show and what we can learn from this show. So I will link that in the description below. When you get the time, please check it out and then give it a thumbs up. While we're at it, please give this video a thumbs up too. So episode 10, I was not ready, okay? So 2 confrontations took place and both of them were very, very messy. Now what happened? Lerato Maphatswa decided to take the ladies on a trip to Lesotho to experience some Basotho culture and also to meet her in-laws, see how her husband's side of the family lives. And I thought that was such a beautiful gesture. Everything seemed to be well planned and well organized. Like it was going to be that type of ending, the type of finale where everything was going to be warm-hearted and sweet and kumbaya-ish. If not for Fundi, feeling that she got stuff to get off her chest, child. And indeed she did. One fateful car ride, Fundi decided that was the right time to confront Lerato Maphatswa and Mpho. Fundi said that she feels that she in this group is not allowed to be herself, to express herself fully and stuff like that. Then when she is participating, saying something or engaging something, she sees certain gestures pass between Mpho and Lerato Maphatswa, and she just was calling it out, okay? Now, Mpho decided it is best to zip it. She didn't utter even a single word. She just chose peace and she stayed in a peaceful corner. Lerato Maphatswa, on the other hand, no ma'am. She too was calling out Fundi, saying that no, you also address us in this manner, you can dish it but you can't take it. There was a lot of back and forth between the two of them. None of the ladies was backing down. During this whole confrontation, Lerato Maphatswa also raised the fact that Fundi kept referring to them as children, and Fundi was like, but you guys also refer to me as greasy and I don't like that. It was a pa. There has been situations where Fundi would just make comments along the lines of, oh my god, what are these kids making me do? Oh my god, I am surrounded by children and stuff like that. Me as a viewer, I did not necessarily find it bothersome. But now, during their back and forth, it came up that Fundi and Lerato Mapata are just 10 years apart. So there is that, battle of seniority. They are not kids. None of these ladies are kids. So some of them did not like being constantly, referred to as if they are kids. And another problem that Fundi raised was like, it seems she didn't like being called Greasy. She had a nickname on the show, been called Greasy, and I think a person who came up with the nickname, I stand corrected, is Lerato Sengadi, and she used it frequently. And you can tell throughout the show that she is using it, she's not being offensive, and she's not insulting her, she's not being an ageist and stuff like that. Just in Lerato's defense, I would say, when you are the youngest in a group of ladies in the African context, the much older people, you cannot refer to them by name. You cannot call them by name. As much as she could call out Mpho and say Mpho, she can't then say to Fundi, Fundi. Look at this video. I've been saying Fundi because, she's such a senior that even me, I'm not in front of her, but I still can't say her name. The second confrontation that took place on this show, it was the closing confrontation. We had a sit down between Sigalala Ngubane, Lerato Mapatwa, and Fundi. Mpho Shabalala was supposed to be part of this, but she declined. Okay, now for this, I'll have to take it back a couple of episodes and provide context. I think on episode 2, Fundi, upon meeting Mpho, it came about that, hold on, she has seen Mpho Shabalala's name before on her husband's diary and on her husband's phone, and Fundi kind of thought that perhaps just maybe Mpho was having an affair with her husband. And that seems to have been resolved on that episode, when they also talked about how Fundi's husband is into charity work, and of course, as we have learned on this show, Mpho runs an organization. So it sort of, was brushed like that. It seemed like we are forgetting about that incident until, is it episode 7? Fundi brings it up again when she had a sit down with Sigalala Ngubane, and she tells Sigalala, no man, how well do you know these ladies? How well do you know Mpho? Because Mpho was in my husband's phone, sending messages to my husband, referring to my husband as love. Who was she in my husband's life that she would refer to him as love? She was all over his diaries and stuff like that. And there's another incident with a Mini Cooper. Mpho drives a Mini Cooper. My husband bought a Mini Cooper for some woman. I don't know what happened to a Mini Cooper, but Mpho drives a Mini Cooper. So it seems like this is something that had been bothering Fundi for quite some time, and she just used that opportunity to offload to Sigalala, because if you watch that episode, she and Sigalala have been through a lot, honey. They had just finished confronting Fundi's in-laws, fighting for Fundi's house. So, they were still on that trauma bonding situation, and Fundi, I think, felt it was safe to share that with Sigalala Ngubane. I don't think it was negative. She was just talking about 1 and 1 and how in her head it made 2 and not 11, because 1 and 1 can make 11 as well, depending on how you look at it. So that happened, and now we move on to episode 9, the previous episode, where Sigi decided she gonna tell Mpho. She joined this group of ladies through Mpho. She has an acquaintanceship with Mpho, and she felt like she owes Mpho that type of loyalty to let Mpho know what was discussed in her absence. Sigalala approached the subject very tactfully. She did not add any additional spice. She just relayed what was said and what she said. So I think in terms of relaying this type of sensitive information, Sigalala did it very well. And rightfully so, Mpho was very upset, hey? I too would have been upset if nothing was going on between me and John, to hear that there are such accusations going on, especially because this show is going to be on national television. I would have also been upset. And if I was in a relationship with John and I hear that I've been found out, I would still act indignant. At some point, though, I wasn't sure where Mpho's action is, that she's upset that this thing is being perpetuated falsely against her name, or is she upset because she's been found out that she had an affair with this married man. Oh my God, this is going to be on national television. At some point, I wasn't sure, but she did explain herself. There was some type of brother-sister relationship that had developed between her and Dr. John, that her son was interested in soccer, and Dr. John had taken it upon himself to, like, see if he can guide and advise and help out Mpho's child. That was Mpho's explanation. How in that type of friendship, relationship, brother-sister type of relationship, you come to then call this man love? Why you called him love? I don't, especially with the age gap between Mpho and Dr. John. How Mpho, how are you calling this man love? I don't know. That's just the one question that lingers in the back of my mind, and I kind of feel like perhaps maybe that is the same thing that lingers in Mfundi's mind, because she would not let it go. Now we fast forward to the Last Supper. There was no food, but I'm gonna call it the Last Supper. Honey, the three ladies sitting down to squash this whole thing. You can tell that Mfundi is already in her feelings, and that she also feels attacked. She's like, why is Lerato Mapatso there? Is she Mpho Shabalala's mouthpiece? Is she Mpho Shabalala's representative? Mpho should have been there to provide her side of the story and all that and such. In Mpho's defense, she said that she felt like they would have been ganging up on Mfundi if she was there as well. So that is why she chose not, to partake in that discussion. I don't know how wise that is, considering that it seems as more time goes on, the more Mfundi convinces herself that something was going on between Mpho and her husband, So that's a little bit tricky there. I cannot say that Mpho was right or wrong in deciding to decline to be part of that sit down, but Mfundi was exploding. She was exploding. The other ladies were on Mpho's side, obviously, especially Lerato Mapatso. She's like, no, but Mfundi, you can't make such accusations about this lady without evidence. She has evidence. That's the thing. Mfundi has evidence. She has that WhatsApp message that Mpho Shabalala sent to her husband talking about I'm all right, love, or whatever the hell Mpho said, but the word love was there. So Mfundi is hung up on that thing. Why would you call my husband love? She called my husband, like, she couldn't move past that point, and the other ladies were just expecting that they would explain it well enough, and Mfundi would move past it. But no, and remember, there is a lot of trauma from her relationship, because her husband, Mfundi that is, cheated on her a lot, and her husband cheated on her with younger ladies. This is, of course, according to Mfundi. And comparing Mfundi and Mpho is the younger lady, is a younger lady. So everything in Mfundi's head, it just adds up to the fact that there was just more going on between her husband and Mpho Shabalala. And I see where she's coming from. You can't tell me, no, nothing was going on, and I can believe you when there's this Mini Cooper situation. My husband bought a Mini Cooper, you have a Mini Cooper. There's this message from you, and mind you, on episode 2, when this whole thing first came out, apparently Mfundi did have a sit-down chat with Mpho Shabalala when she was thinking, were you my husband's mistress? And Mpho Shabalala did confirm that that's her number, that she is the person who sent that message to Mfundi's husband. So I don't blame Mfundi for how she acted, okay? But the ladies, Lerato Mapatso was biased. Lerato Mapatso was like gaslighting Mfundi. Lerato Mapatso was not putting herself in Mfundi's shoes. In Lerato, the way I see it, Lerato Mapatso had already chosen side, and she was on Mpho's side. She was not objective at all. Sigalala was a little bit objective, I'll give her that. She did more listening than talking. When she did talk, she was just raising points instead of defending this party or that party. So yeah, it turned real bad, real sour, really volatile at the end. There was a moment where the ladies were on their feet, fingers, like finger pointing, like Mpho just literally pointed at Lerato Mapatsa's face and like, you are a hypocrite, you are a hypocrite. Something about being a doormat and being treated like a doormat, being used. I don't know what that where that came from and what she was talking about, but the lady was hurting deeply, severely. So, I mean, I hope after the show ended, they were able to have a come to Jesus moment, calm down and talk logically and calmly about everything and just reach a peaceful conclusion, because I really, really did not like how it all ended, especially when you consider what the purpose of the show was, you know, a sisterhood for these widows who have faced so much after their husbands have passed on. Woo, my lips are so dry. I don't have a lip balm anywhere nearby. I think I'm gonna have to end it right here. Go put lip balm on my lips. If you made it this far, be a sweetie, be a darling, and please subscribe to my channel. I think I'm on the right trajectory. 1,000 subscribers is so close. Thank you so much for everybody who has subscribed. Also give my video a thumbs up, and if you have your own opinion, whether they match mine or they are contradictory to mine, please put them in the comment section below. I would like to hear your point of view. Thank you so much. Bye.